everybody. I've got a word of encouragement today, particularly for those who feel lost or feel like they're in a fog and they don't know where they're going. And if that is you, this word is for you, and I really pray that it encourages you today. And so what often happens is God, being the big, incredible God He is, He gives us this massive word, or this big word over our lives that we cannot achieve in our own strength. And we hear it, maybe it's a dream, maybe it's others speak it over our life, and we receive it and we believe it in our heart. We're like, yes, Lord, thank you for this word, and we agree with it. And then we find ourselves in the middle of nowhere near this word, and we're like, God, what is going on? We start to think, well, maybe God's punishing us, maybe He's delaying us, maybe He's holding us back. But that is not true at all. God isn't punishing, He isn't delaying, He isn't holding us back. Rather, He's sidestepping for a season to bring up things and teach us things that are very important that we will need for this big word. And God's been talking to me about Joseph. If you know the story of Joseph, Joseph has this dream. And in this dream, essentially God is saying, hey, you're going to be a prominent person in a nation, like a prime minister. And then Joseph finds himself in the middle of nowhere. He finds himself in Potiphar's house, in the middle of nowhere near this palace season that God had spoken over him. And what we see in that season is God is actually equipping Joseph. He's training him, He's giving him the necessary skills, the right leadership and management skills that are needed for the palace season, in that season, in the middle of nowhere. And I just want to encourage you today, if you find yourself in the middle of nowhere, God is teaching you, He's training you there. And so just let Him, learn from Him, learn in that space with Him. And the other thing I feel like God wants to encourage you with today is, if you find yourself in the middle of nowhere and you don't know what to do, you don't know your next step, I feel like the Lord wants to encourage you to serve where you're at. Serve where you're at to the very best of your ability. That might be at home, that might be at the workplace, that might be at church, but serve where you're at to the very best of your ability. Just like Joseph did. In Potiphar's house, he served to the very best of his ability. And Jesus as well, He came to serve, not to be served. And so we can just humble ourselves before God. We serve well in the middle of nowhere, and at the right time, God surely will bring that word over your life to pass. So I pray this blesses you and encourages you today.